Traditionally, Chinese consumers have often been considered as savers compared to the West, although up until 2020, consumerism was the order of the day. However, in the aftermath of zero COVID and all the geopolitical situation with the US, with Taiwan and everything else around, then that situation has changed. Here are 5 trends that you need to consider with Chinese consumers. Firstly, premiumization. Secondly, more considered spending. Thirdly, health and wellness. Point 4 is a return to travel. And point 5 is a different perspective on the question of buying local versus international. Even prior to the pandemic, Chinese consumers were also showing a strong trend towards premiumization. Increased purchasing power had led them to be looking for better quality products, and also there were the beginnings of looking for companies who sell according to their company purpose and values rather than simply looking for the best price. So consumers are looking for really tangible benefits, and sometimes those can also be green benefits. So if you're selling those kind of products, this can also be of benefit for you. When I say that Chinese consumers practice more considered spending these days, that doesn't mean that they're not spending money, but what it does mean is that they're a little bit more careful about how they spend their money, and they're more prepared to wait to get what it is that they want at the best price available. That might be something green, it might be something sustainable, but there are less impulse purchases being made these days. If the pandemic has taught Chinese consumers anything, it's the awareness of their own mortality. So any products that contribute to an improved immune system or better general health have increased in popularity. That can be sport products, it can be nutritional supplements. All of those, whilst they were popular before the pandemic, are increasingly popular now. What it also means though is that brands need to really walk the talk and be very transparent and careful about making sure that they match the Chinese requirement for health claims. Safe products have always been a priority for the Chinese, but increasingly also the question of mental health awareness has increased. So that is also an area you could focus on. After 3 pandemic years, including the rather draconian zero COVID policy, the Chinese are certainly ready to travel again, and the recent May holidays showed that in style, as everywhere within China was truly booked out with people travelling. International travel hasn't quite bounced back yet, but that is sure to come when flights become more frequent and the prices drop. There were times in China when the question of local versus international was a no-brainer. The international brands were ahead. These days, there's been a huge rise in the trend or the popularity of local products, especially with combining elements of traditional Chinese culture, so-called guochao trend. I would say it's not an either-or trend though. There are still opportunities for international brands. The local brands, however, have the advantage of being closer to the market, more agile and faster in their decisions, and quite bold. So, as an international company, you need to decide how you want to counter that and what your true USP really is. How can you show commitment to the market, as that is important? Generally, if you want to be keeping up with Chinese consumer trends, then you need to really have an in-depth knowledge of the market and be prepared to adapt. But most of all, you need to be able to be flexible and to react at high speed to the changes that you see occurring around you.